this is Dara Connolly, and today I'm going to teach you how to speak with power and confidence. Let's do it. Okay, let's jump right in because I'm so excited to give you this content today. I have a couple tips for you, and then you're gonna blow your mind on how you can speak with power and confidence. This is a great one. Are you ready? All right, let's start with tip number one. Tip number one is I want you to make a great vocal impression. We've all heard how your first impression matters, but did you know your vocal impression matters? So imagine this scenario. You're busy, maybe you're cooking dinner, you're folding laundry, you're trying to manage your business, the phone rings, you run over to grab it because you don't want to miss the call, and so you answer, hello, in a rushed, hurried, anxious state. Well, that first hello can actually hurt you if you don't say it with confidence and power. So you could make a really bad impression based on that one word. So how about this? If it's not a great time to answer the phone, you do not answer it. You can let it go to voicemail, call the person back when you were more poised and prepared. Take time to speak and pause before you say that first hello. That one word really makes a difference of what's about to come. Look, confidence people have a lower tone. They know how to speak with confidence. They are speaking from their diaphragm, so it's a deeper, slightly deeper voice. Your hello in that one word will let people know whether you're frazzled, you're busy, you're in a rush, you're anxious. Just one word. Now think about this. If this is a potential client or somebody that may want to work with you, they are listening to that hello and deciding, if you're that busy, maybe you don't have time for me, or you won't put a lot of effort into working with me. See, most people are a little nervous when they first start speaking or when they first answer the phone, if it's an important call that you need to take. So that first hello can come out as if it's a little nervous. And sometimes when we're a little nervous, it comes out in a breathy, raspy, higher pitched, nervous sounding way. Hello? We don't want that. We want to sound confident by going a little bit lower. And so what you can do, say you know that call's coming in at 2:00, take a moment, the few minutes before, and think about something that makes you feel great, that boosts your self-esteem. Maybe it's an award you've won, or the last time you're promoted, or the last review, raving testimonial that you got from a customer. Take some time to think about that and remember it, and put yourself in that state and let that greatness infuse into your voice. So when you speak, others will notice you and will judge you based on your vocal impression. Okay, tip number 2 today is going to be to leverage the tiny signals you're sending. Now, what do I mean by that? We've talked in other videos about body language and facial expression, but let's take it a little bit further. It's not just that. We know body language is important. We know facial expressions do matter. But what about your word choice and the tone that you're using with those words? You see, all of our voices change when we're around different people. You may notice this. You may notice that you speak differently when you're around friends and you're a little bit more relaxed, and you may speak a little bit faster at a higher pace than when you speak with a boss or a coworker or somebody that maybe intimidates you a little bit. You may find that your voice is a little bit more shaky or lower. You know, I used to be able to tell who my husband was speaking to just based on the tone of his voice, whether it was a female or a male, based on the other end of that call, because he would change his pitch. He'd go a little higher if it was a female. Hi, how are you? As opposed to, hi, how are you? It was interesting. I can always tell who he was talking to. So you have to realize that we all do this. It's subconscious. We change our pitch and tone a little bit based on who we're speaking to. If you're speaking to somebody that you don't like, it could be a family member or a coworker, and you really despise this person, you may notice that your vocal rate suddenly increases a little bit to indicate, I want to get the heck out of here. I want to be done with this conversation. Does this happen? So what we want to do is think about controlling the tiny signals we're sending. Not just Are we using different vocal variety and tone? But are we being consistent and indicating the tone that we want to with this person? Because if it doesn't come across in a way of, I'm excited to talk to you, I enjoy talking with you, these underlying cues can hurt you. Think about it. Do you feel nervous before your boss walks in the room? Do you change the way you speak because of that nervousness? Or when you're speaking to your kids, you always have the same tone that maybe comes out a little bit more nasally, or you're speaking higher because you're in reprimand mode. What this is a vocal trigger. So tip 2 is to pay attention to your vocal triggers and notice the subliminal messages that they may be sending. And see if you can tweak it a little bit. So one easy way to do this is to watch the pace. Now, before I get into this tip, this is going into tip 3. This is a great time to remind you to smash that subscribe button so you can be notified when I publish new videos. I always offer new tips here on YouTube that cannot be found anywhere else. So if you're enjoying this content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I can't wait to tell you my next tip. Okay, now as we get into tip 3, when we talk about our pacing, see, most people speak at a moderately fast pace, about 195 words per minute to be exact. And when they speak at that pace, they were found to be more intelligent, more persuasive, and more credible and socially attractive, according to other people. But keep in mind that people are judging you based on the pace at which you speak. So this can hurt you or help you depending on the situation. So let's say you're in a job interview. Most of us get a little nervous on a job interview, as expected. Our heart rate's going, palms may get sweaty. And so now we get a little nervous and we speak a little too quickly. Well, what does that indicate to the person listening? Again, that we may be in a rush, which means they're going to miss our message and miss the potency of our message. At the pace I'm speaking at right now is considered a moderately fast pace. When I give a presentation, I don't speak this fast because I need time for the audience to catch it. But since this is a recording, you can always pause and go back if you miss something I said. So I want you to think about the pace that you speak at normally. You can always emphasize the pace by adding high and low and pauses to help accentuate it. For example, there's different ways you can say words that'll determine how confident you are as a speaker. So if I say, let's assume I'm on a job interview, I know I would be a great fit for this company, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. I stayed at a very similar pace throughout, and so there wasn't any high or low. Also, the pacing was good. It was moderately, maybe a little slower. But what if I change it up? And if I say that in a neutral tone, what happens to the person who's listening is going to say, I don't believe that you really feel excited about being here, or that I'm convinced that you're a good fit, because confidence can come through in the tone that we use. Now, let's say if I switch it up and use a little bit more of a confident tone and use pacing to my advantage. I know I would be a great fit for this company, and I'm really excited about this opportunity. Notice the words that I slowed down. Fit, because I want them to remember that I feel I fit in, and they will remember that as well. And then excited, I put a little bit more time to say that word because I want them to remember that emotion. See, we can use language to help convey how confident we are. So the person listening will hopefully remember those two words, fit and excited. That's what I want them to remember. So you change the tone, high and low, and you also emphasize with pacing where you want people to draw their attention to when you are speaking. Okay, I'm so excited to give you this content today that I have a bonus tip. And before I give you the bonus tip, I want you to not only subscribe below, but take a peek at DaraConnollyCLUB, which is the club that's offered below that has exclusive content with me, as well as my mentors and coaches that cannot be seen anywhere else. I've put together 10-minute videos that take you through everything from speaking with impact to how to become a professional speaker, how to get on a TEDx stage, write your book, to become a speech coach and be the authority in your lane. If you're curious about these 10-minute and less videos that can't be accessed anywhere else, go ahead and hit DaraConnollyCLUB and get in at the exclusive low price right now. It's important that you join now because the price does increase a little bit each month unless you lock in at this low deal. It's a super saving, so you do not want to miss this. Thousands of dollars of content that I'm giving away to you for a very low price. DaraConnollyCLUB, you've seen it below. Okay, so the bonus I want to talk about today, which I have never, ever talked about before, is to avoid vocal fry. Now, if you're not familiar with this saying, this is when we speak in a raspy, scratchy tone. And sometimes this happens when we're not breathing properly. So, for example, if we're trying to say a long phrase or sentence, and we don't take an inhale and we're trailing off at the end of our breath, what happens is our vocal cords cannot rub together at a smooth pace, and it creates a creaky, hollow sound known as vocal fry, which sounds like this. It's literally you're hearing people's vocal cords rattle next to each other, scratch together, and when this happens, it's not very pleasant. And it can be off-putting and make you sound anxious, nervous, and less confident. So how do we avoid vocal fry? Breathe in. You have to add more breath when you're speaking. So let's try this experiment together. Take a breath. Now exhale all the air out. All of it. Keep going. Get all the air out of your lungs and then say, hello, how are you? You notice how my voice was a little scratchy on that? Maybe you heard yourself say this the same way. Now, that raspiness doesn't sound very good, does it? So let's try it a different way. Let's take a breath in. Fill your lungs, keep the air there, and now say, hello, how are you? No raspiness, no vocal fry. It sounds cleaner. What we're doing is we're speaking on an exhale with full lungs, as opposed to forgetting to inhale and running out of breath. So every time you're about to say a sentence or a couple of sentences, pause, breathe in, and then speak. When you have a comma or a period or a new paragraph, breathe in again. Don't forget to breathe. It's common sense. We do it naturally. But when we're speaking, sometimes our nerves get in the way and we forget to breathe. This is so important. So vocal fry happens usually at the end of a sentence when we run out of breath. And if we can simply remember to breathe in before speaking and use shorter phrases, more poignant sentences, it'll eliminate it altogether and you won't run out of air. So these are just a few of the many tips I can teach you of how to speak with confidence and be more impactful. There's so much more. Today was just a little taste of tip of the iceberg. So what I want you to do next is go ahead and click the next video, which is how to improve your English when you're speaking professionally. You may not realize that there's a lot of skills here for even my English speakers. So go ahead and got a couple things to click. First, subscribe, hit DaraConnollyCLUB, and then smash the video for the next video that you see popping up. I can't wait to tell you more. In the meantime, you are amazing.